What's going on, you guys? It's Hiram here. Is the recession over? Well, to answer that question, quite frankly, no. And for me to say that the recession is over or to assume that whatsoever would be completely ignorant of me. But it is worth considering, especially with all of the news that's come out lately. That gives us a lot of hope for the near future. So if you haven't been keeping up with the news lately, here's what's been going on, okay? The chairman of the Federal Reserve, who is Jerome Powell, came out in a press conference today talking about the economic downturn and what we're going through right now. And just real quick to explain what the Federal Reserve is, it's this entity that has nothing to do with the government. They're an entity of their own, and they help stimulate the economy. They influence the economy by putting regulations into the banks and supplying them money. Anyway, as to how the Federal Reserve came to be and how they go about influencing the economy is a whole nother video for another time. Well, that press conference lasted about 50 minutes, followed up by a Q&A with Jerome Powell. But to break it down for you, he actually gave some pretty good points. One of those good points was that the Federal Reserve was going to continue to buy mortgage-backed securities or loans off of the banks so that the banks can feel comfortable in giving more loans to you. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but basically what it is that the banks right now are so scared to give loans to other people because they're afraid that you might not pay that loan back. So when they're afraid, they just hold on to their money and they don't lend it. And when that happens, the economy stays in a stationary state. But what they want is for money to continue moving and to keep going from hand to hand. And so in order for that to happen, the Federal Reserve is stepping in and they're saying, you know what, banks? If you guys continue to lend to the American people and you guys are afraid that they're not going to pay it back, we'll buy the loan off of you. That way you guys keep your money and you guys continue lending. So that was one good point. Another good point was that he said that they were going to keep interest rates down. Here's actually what he said.
The Federal Reserve's response is guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people, along with our responsibilities to promote the stability of the financial system. Last month, we quickly lowered our policy interest rate to near zero. We stated then and again today that we expect to maintain interest rates at this level until we're confident that the economy has weathered recent events and is on track to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals.
So what do these zero interest rates mean for us, though? What does that have to do with us? Well, for example, if you were wanting to buy a home and you were just waiting it out to see if the prices of real estate were going to go down any, they're probably not going to go down any more than they have now. You're not going to see a big dramatic drop in real estate prices. Why? It's because these 0% interest rates or very, very low interest rates are going to motivate buyers to continue buying in this real estate market now. So there's not going to be this big dip in prices, especially when buyers are still going to go out there and buy. So if I were you and I was someone that was wanting to look for a house to live in, or I wanted to invest in real estate, I'd go ahead and start doing that right now. Jerome Powell also said, and I'm going to read it verbatim, okay? He said, the sooner we get the virus under control, the sooner the people can regain confidence and regain their economic activity. So what he's saying by that is that in order for us to really go back to our normal economic activity or just back to our normal day-to-day routines, we need to first have confidence that we can go outside and stay healthy. And in order for us to be confident about that, we first need to be confident in a treatment. And so that really leads me to my next point. The director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, came out with some pretty good and hopeful news yesterday mid-afternoon. Here's what he said.
The data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. This is really quite important for a number of reasons, and I'll give you the data. It's highly significant. If you look at the time to recovery being shorter in the remdesivir arm, it was 11 days compared to 15 days. It is a very important proof of concept because what it is proven is that a drug can block this virus.
So in a nutshell, this drug called remdesivir is proven to be effective and working amongst the COVID-19 infected patients. So that's something that's really giving us hope and making us look forward to maybe having confidence in going back outside and going to our day-to-day routines. Obviously, this drug is still undergoing trials and there's a lot of side effects to the drug, but this is something that really gives us hope for the future. And the stock market has really taken it into account. This morning, all of my stocks were green. Okay, by the end of the day, some of them were red, but not by a lot. But this is what's been happening. I kind of want to draw it out for you guys just so you guys can kind of follow me and understand what's been going on. Okay, right around March, late February or March, when all of this news started hitting about the COVID-19, all of these companies started losing money and closing down, and their stock price dramatically went down, all the way down. But now what we're starting to see is a little uptick, and we're not seeing it go all the way up, but we're starting to see it gradually go up, which makes me think that we've definitely hit our bottom, and that the companies obviously went down at the beginning because they started closing down businesses. The airports started closing, restaurants started closing, and so they were losing money. But now that the states are starting to reopen and everybody's starting to think about going back out there, it's been taken into account in the stock market, and prices for all of these companies are going up. I hope you can read that. I hope this makes sense. But I'll be sharing also what my investing portfolio looks on Webull. That way you can see a little bit more of what's been going on and you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. And so this is definitely an indicator to me that things are moving up and we're not backtracking here. This is still a good opportunity for many of you who are still thinking about investing and aren't quite sure yet. Things like I've drawn here, the prices for the companies and the stock price has not yet fully gone back up to where we were at about 4 months ago. You see, that's basically where we were at 4 months ago. And we're still down here. So if you're thinking about investing, get in now. Download that investing platform Webull. Get your 2 free stocks whenever you invest $100. But you don't even have to start investing with $100. You can deposit as little as $10 and start investing with $10. And then just see how your investment does there. Webull also has a really cool feature where you can start investing with paper money. And basically what that is that you can invest with pretend money. And you can put in there that you have $1 million. It's all pretend. And then start investing those pretend $1 million into the stock market. And it'll trend it for you to see how well you do with those investments. Then once you feel comfortable and you think you're ready to go, you can start investing your real dollars into the platform and see how they perform. But guys, if you're thinking about investing and you're not quite sure, I suggest that you do it now because things are going to eventually go back up and I'm not quite sure what's going to happen after that. So go ahead and download that app, get your 2 free stocks when you deposit $100, all right? All right, so as you can see in that small little blue box on the right-hand side, I bought 81 shares of Western Midstream at $4.16. Those shares are now worth around $8.30, giving me an earnings of around $345. And so as you can see with AT&T, I bought 7 shares at $29.38. Those are now worth $30.47, giving me an increase of $7. Alright, so as you can see here with Cinemark, I bought 6 shares at $11.99. Those are now worth $14 around there, and that gave me an increase of about $12. Alright, and now Disney, I got 7 shares at $103. Those are now worth $108, and that gave me a $21 increase. Alright, so this is an interesting one, and this is where I continue to learn because I bought 8 shares of Delta Airlines at $32, but the stock price continued to go down. And so right now it's valued at $25, so I'm down $50, but unless I sell them, I won't technically really lose my money. So I'll just wait for those shares to continue to climb back up. But for now, it provides a really good buying opportunity for me to keep buying at a low price and until they go up. Okay, but obviously everything is not sunshine and rainbows, and I'm aware of that. Around 33 million people are now unemployed. And even here in West Texas, we're still seeing things looking pretty down. A lot of people are losing their jobs here. A couple of people that I know have lost their jobs. And I know drilling has stopped because they don't want to keep producing a lot of oil and overstock the oil. So if you're hurting for money and you don't know where to make money right now, make sure to check the video that I made last week about how you can be making money during this quarantine and during this crisis. And if you still have a job but you're worried about what's going to happen, make sure you have that emergency fund, guys. At least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up so that if you get let go, you have money in reserves to keep you going during this time for you and your family. And now before I go, I want to share something with you guys. This is a cool little gift that my wife gave me. It's a little light bulb, which I've always liked light bulbs because they kind of symbolize new ideas and innovation. And inside this little light bulb, she put a lot of quotes. And so I took one out and I want to share whatever quote this is in here with you guys to keep us motivated through this time. So let's see what this has here. It says, God gives us difficulties to bring the best in us, by Marvin J. Ashton. Guys, I don't think that could be any more true. These difficulties are to bring out the best in us. It really makes me think about a lot of our top leaders as well, because our leaders have to learn how to manage these unprecedented times with unemployments in their cities and in their states, and now they got to see and think about how they're going to go about reopening their states. And so all of these difficulties are going to bring out the best in them, and that should also bring out the best in us. All of these difficulties are for us to learn from and to hopefully maximize opportunities during this time. So guys, stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.